following is a question that I received after I posted about my visit to the Slave Museum. And it's a deep question, it's a long question, and I'm going to break it up in parts. So I want to read the question so that you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Question says, I'm not sure where you're from, possibly Africa or maybe the Caribbean. Strictly based off of your accent, I myself am Black American, and my question is, why aren't more Africans that's still on the continent and African Caribbeans more angry and mad and hurt about slavery? Because slavery happened to Africans. Why does it seem to be this disdain for African Americans, which were mostly Africans, not all, but majority? So I've broken down the question in two ways. One is, why are more African and Caribbeans not mad, angry, and hurt about slavery? Because slavery happened to Africans. That's one. And two, why is there a disdain for Black Americans by Africans and Caribbeans? Not all, but the majority. So I'm going to take these questions one by one. The first one, why are more Africans and Caribbeans mad or angry and hurt about slavery? Because slavery happened to Africans. First question, why aren't Africans and the Caribbeans more mad about slavery? We're not more mad about slavery, mind you. We don't like it, but we're not more mad about slavery because you've experienced in America slavery longer than we have. It took 31 years for after slavery in the Caribbean was over for slavery in America to be over. So in terms of that, we have a 31-year head start. Secondly, in America, you have more white people than in the Caribbean. So when slavery was ended, Caribbean people or Black people were more in numbers than the white people. Therefore, Caribbean Blacks were able to rise up in business, in leadership, in politics, in different careers, lawyers, doctors, and so on, way more than Black Americans were able to. Because of this, we have a mentality of seeing ourselves in the leadership position, seeing ourselves doing businesses, seeing ourselves in places of authority more than a Black American person would be able to see themselves. Because representation matters. It shapes the thinking, it shapes the possibilities of children growing up. Because you've had more white people in America than Black people, white people were able to oppress, even after slavery, they were able to oppress the Black population more than in the Caribbean. So it's more in your mindset. The oppression has been there. When Black America built, white America destroyed. When Black America built, white America stole. When Black America built, white America came after them. Their lands were stolen, their businesses were stolen and destroyed. For example, Black Wall Street and so many other towns, Seneca Village in New York, and so many other towns and villages around the US were destroyed when Black people did their thing, right? When they excelled. White America was always looking to place the foot down in order to destroy. All of these kinds of actions shape the DNA of Black America, right? So you have suffered under slavery longer. You've been oppressed to a more brutal level than the Caribbean and Africans, and those shaping the DNA. In the Caribbean and in Africa, we've been affected also by colonialism. You're not so much affected in America by colonialism, but in Caribbean and Africa, we're affected by colonialism. That also shaped our mindset, just like slavery has shaped our mindset, away from the greatness that God has placed in us as all human beings. But the key thing is that we always saw ourselves in roles of leadership within our own nations. And because you don't see yourself in leadership, not because that you weren't in leadership, but because every time you rose, you got crushed. Every time you rose, you got crushed by the evils. It seems as though we're not upset about slavery, but trust me, we are. Another thing is, another aspect to consider is that Caribbean people and African people are not educated on the treatment of Black America. We don't understand what you went through. We don't understand Reconstruction, meaning that after slavery, immediately Black Americans started rising. They even went to Congress. They rose, right? We don't understand that there was an agreement between the North and the South to crush all of those, the rising of Black people because of insecure white people. Somehow white people thought, America's manifest destiny, so it is a white paradise for them. We don't know all of that history because America does not really teach that history. It keeps that on the down low, and as we speak right now, that history, they're trying to erase that history so that America is not seen for really what it is and how it can be. Not everybody, obviously, but the governmental systems and the systems that have been set up is not for people within America to prosper, Black people within America. And then if you even take it outside, America has been destroying other nations, and that's why you see a lot of people even trying to get to America because their nations have been destroyed. So what's going on within America with Black people is a microcosm of what has been going on the outside of America. Yeah. Bottom line of what I'm trying to say is we're not mad at slavery, or we don't seem as though we're mad at slavery, because we have risen to areas of leadership that we can in our nations. We really and truly don't understand how our mindset has not changed and how our mindset needs to grow even more. I think in America, Black Americans understand that a little more than us. And then I'm going to address the other part of the question in another video. This one is already 9 minutes.